It's 1:20 p.m. in Malaysia. As I walk into this 100 meter above, the time will be changed 1 hour earlier. Sungai Golok divides the land into two different countries, which is Malaysia and Thailand. Different countries or different official languages, different currency and different time. Both sides has a similar geography, climate, hot and humid, and also longitude. But by looking at the time zone map, there is a bulge in Malaysian time zone that makes Malaysia 1 hour earlier than Thailand and Western Indonesia is within a similar longitude. How does this time differences happen? Let's take a cross on 100-meter bridge connecting Malaysia and Thailand and understanding of how countries with similar longitude has different times. Good morning. Today is 6:15 a.m. in Patani, Thailand, and today is a working day. And this is one of the major road. Behind here is a university, and in front there is some of the government offices. But you can see in the 6 a.m. the road are all almost empty, whereas in Malaysia, around the similar light and similar sunrise, the road will be full with cars and all people go to school and work and such. But here is totally empty. To understand the differences of time in the world, including in Thailand and Malaysia, we need to look at the history of how the time difference of most adjacent time zones is difference is 1 hour, not say like 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Until 19th century, the time was kept by a sundial in the local observatory. 12 p.m. is midday and 12 a.m. is midnight. Since different cities in the world located in the different longitudes, the difference of time between the cities could be as little as 1 minute. The development of railways changed how we measure the time when railways were expanded throughout the United Kingdom, and series of accidents and fatalities happened due to the time confusion, since the train departed with using local time, which was different by cities even by a single minute. Since the 1840s, the railway companies in United Kingdom adapted London time as the standard time for the railway operation to avoid all this time confusion. London time is regulated by Royal Observatory, a scientific institution that located in Greenwich, southeast of London. Since 1880, Greenwich Mean Time or GMT was legalized as the standard time in the whole United Kingdom. Since there is 24 hours per day, the world was divided into 24 parts. That's why we have 1 hour difference throughout in most of the time zone. In this video, I will explore the reasons of how Thailand and Malaysia and Singapore and Brunei were separated by an hour, and the whole story will take a lot of time. Kingdom of Thailand, previously known as Siam in the 19th century, is keen to modernize its knowledge of science and technology. The construction of railways made the far-flung journey to the far corners of Siam possible within just 3 days compared to weeks with boats. Similar with United Kingdom, Siam used the local time used by the cities across the kingdom. With the development of railways, local time caused confusion and hampered the trade and business. By a royal decree, the time in Siam is standardized to local time of Eastern Province of Ubon Ratchathani, passing through the 105th of degree of meridian east. Remember this number 105, 105th degree meridian east. We will go back to this number later, which is 7 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time, Miss GMT +7, starting on 1st of April 1920. The standard time of GMT +7 hours, standardized school and work time all over the country, and it's also simplified the railway operation as well. With the colorful modern history of Thailand, with the series of coup, government changes and economic ups and downs, the time used still remains the same until today. Before we go into the history of time in Malaya and Singapore, let's look at how Sarawak, Brunei and also North Borneo give the GMT plus 8 hours that is being used by the whole Malaysia today and also Singapore. Before 1926, Kuching Sarawak used a GMT plus 7 hours 21 minutes and 20 seconds as the local time. Afterwards, the time was rounded to the nearest meridian as a GMT plus 7 hours 30 minutes. But in the 1st of January 1933, the time was moved 30 minutes earlier to GMT plus 8 hours. Why there is such a move to add extra minutes? I will explain later on of what exactly happened in Malaya and Singapore at that time that caused the move to also in Sarawak, in North Borneo and also in Brunei. And the time in Borneo sites was unchanged, with the brief interruption during the Japanese occupation between 1942 until 1945, when the time was changed into GMT plus 9 hours, which is follow the Tokyo time. And afterwards, after 1945, it's always been a GMT plus 8 hours until today. Why until today? Let's continue to what happened in about time in Malaya and Singapore. Just as the situation in 19th century world time in Malaya and Singapore followed the local time, together with the amalgamation of Malay states into a single federation and expansion of a railway network, there was a need to standardize time, similar with what the United Kingdom has done. Between 1905, Singapore local time was used as a standard time throughout the British Malaya, which is GMT plus 6 hours, 55 minutes and 25 seconds. Between 1905 until 1933, GMT plus 7 was used as the nearest hour when the GMT value was rounded up and it matched the location of 105 degree meridian east located in the eastern part of Singapore. Remember, 105 degree meridian east, the same longitude as eastern Thailand. As a result, for 12 years, actually the time in British Malaya and Thailand is actually just the same. However, in 1932, there was a proposal to rejuvenate the idea of daylight saving time that was rejected back in 1920, which pushed the time 20 minutes earlier, or starting on the 1st of January 1933. At first it's 30 minutes, but 30 minutes sounds too much, so they just reduced it to 20 minutes. And the proposal amazingly accepted and the permanent daylight savings was added, and the official reason is that the daylight savings time shortened the work hours, giving more time for the workers to play and rest. But do remember that Malaya and Singapore is the tropical country. There is no such thing as a summer, so maybe summer every day. In 1930s, actually what happens is that there was a drop of price of rubber and tin, two of the most important export commodity of Malaya, causing reduction in government revenue. Just thus to save the electricity and also to save the government money, daylight saving time was introduced. So in 1941, the daylight savings time was increased to 30 minutes in the midst of the World War II, changing the time in Malaya and Singapore to GMT plus 7 hours and 30 minutes. During the Japanese occupation between 1942 until 1945, the time was changed again to GMT plus 9 following the Tokyo time. After the World War II was ended in 1945, the time reverted back to GMT plus 7 hours 30 minutes permanently without any DST, daylight saving time, and it remained that way until 1981. Thus, when Malaya and later the formation of Malaysia and later Singapore expelled from Malaysia, there are two different time zones, and different time zones cause inconveniences in daily life across the sea, since government offices, the banks, schools and businesses were open at different times. In 1981, to facilitate trade with China, Hong Kong and also within Malaysia itself, Prime Minister of Malaysia at the time, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, suggested that time in Peninsular Malaysia move 30 minutes faster to be standardized with the Borneo time, GMT plus 8. And the move also makes Kuala Lumpur will have the same working time with Kuching and Kota Kinabalu, easing government and also business affairs. While the time similarities with Hong Kong and Shanghai, with Taipei, and also 1 hour difference with Tokyo and Seoul will encourage more trade in the region and not wanting to left behind, Prime Minister of Singapore Lee Kuan Yew makes Singapore follow the suit as well by moving the time in tandem with Malaysia by Interpretation Act 1981. As Singapore is also heavily traded with Hong Kong and mainland China, and most importantly, the most important trading partner, Malaysia. On the 1st of January 1982, the time in Peninsular Malaysia and Singapore was moved 30 minutes earlier and standardized as GMT plus 8 hours. One of the very few things that Mahathir and Lee Kuan Yew can agree upon within their political rivalries. 1 hour difference might sound a little, but it can make a daily routine differs widely on both sides of the borders. So you can see the difference of time, even with 1 hour, can affect people's daily life on how you can see even the difference of 1 hour of clock can affect people's daily life. What time you will wake up, what time you go for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and what time you will go to school and work. 6 a.m. like this is similar condition and time and light with 7 a.m. in Malaysia. But 7 a.m. in Malaysia, the road here will be full and full with cars already. And that is how Malaysia and Thailand ended up having 1 hour difference under the same sun and light. If you want to cross between Malaysia and Thailand via land route, there are 8 border crossings. This crossing is headed towards Sungai Golok, where the train services from Bangkok terminate. Sungai Golok is located in the southern province of Narathiwat. Please check the travel advice or security from your respective country before visiting. Another land crossing that is more convenient to travelers is Padang Besar, where the trains of 2 countries meet, bringing passengers and goods to Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok and beyond. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new about time and how Malaysia and Thailand has 1 hour difference despite the similar longitude. Thank you so much for watching again, and see you in the next video.